wanted to,
Sorry.
hi guys, I just wanted to thank you all for showing up this evening. I wanted to introduce Allison and Jared. These two have been in my life from a distance for going on 7 years now, and they built a line of trust with me. And so I'm going into my third year and with my entrepreneurial spirit and growing my team. And just a little backstory. When I first realized Allison and as she was in my circle, she was a stay-at-home mom, two little littles, and it was a tiny apartment. It was a tiny apartment. And she was sharing, um, it went from vegan meals to Purium with like some silicone bakeware in between. And I just loved watching her bloom and grow. And I'm going to let her tell her story. But guys, they literally have the time freedom now. They have moved from Montreal and they are two-star crowns. They are great leaders and mentors, very empowering, full of grace. And then when like the aha moment for me is to see Allison go over to Thailand a couple of years ago and to do training all by herself. When I first met her, she was like dark circles under the eyes and just really worn thin. And to see her graduate into that health and still be present, and her husband, Jared, as her team leader, as her mate, really stepped in and took care of those kiddos, took care of the team. And I got a hold of him and I was all like, let me try the super aminos. And the super aminos came at a really good time in my life. I had a lap band surgery around 20 years ago, and that put me at a deficit when it came to protein because it thatches, and I just wound up throwing it up. So since the super aminos, like within 2 months, I started having hair growth, my skin started tightening up, and my mobility seemed to get better. Like my muscles didn't ache as much. And so January the 27th is going to be my 3 year anniversary. And I got a hold of Jared on the 26th, and I was all like, what do I do? How can I share this? And I have been sharing it ever since. I have been able, I regrew a blood supply. I was able to get my hip taken care of. And I am in the process of dropping that weight again. I'm a comfort foodie eater, and this is this is my life. It's a choose your own adventure situation, and part of that adventure situation is building a team full of leaders. Thank you, Landon, for showing up. I appreciate it. Building a team full of leaders, people who are empowering already and understand that nutrition is key to a long life gloriously lived. I want to go ahead and introduce Allison so she can go ahead and tell you part of her story. I know that our stories are similar. I've been able to detox the glyphosate out of my gut, come off of 3 different psych meds. So amazing to be awake and aware in this day and age. It's a beautiful, glorious time to be able to share. And with this community, having people who understand what it means to come up and be aware with the proper nutrition, that right there just calls to me. And Allison, share your story if you would, please.
Thank you for that
Thanks,
beautiful
Mary.
introduction, Marty. I love being on this journey with you and healing together and rising together and really just growing into our highest versions possible. So it's been such a pleasure to get to know you over these 3 years. And I know you were following me before we ever really got to know each other. So I'm always so honored when like someone was paid, because at that time when I started, I didn't have any influence. I didn't think anyone was watching me. I did try other businesses, as you mentioned. I was um doing like bakeware and different kind of things to try and make, figure out my purpose here. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't have the confidence or the, for myself, I was so struggling with my mental health. It was really hard for me to follow through with things that I would start. So I would have big ideas, and Jared's been through a lot of my big ideas where I would, get really like almost anxiously passionate about something and then not be able to follow through, and then, going into these shame cycles, and really I didn't find my place. And when these foods found me, they actually, it's so interesting. And I know you feel the same because it's like a hard thing to explain to someone who doesn't experience it, but it builds your confidence. Like when you start to repair your gut, you start to like, I felt so like baby steps, it wasn't overnight, but slowly I felt myself finding my voice, opening my throat chakra, which was so healing, and feeling supported by this community to share my story. That is huge. Like I know that's, definitely what we all need. We all needed that. And so then to be able to inspire people without even knowing them, right? Because all we do is share our story. So I shared my skin and my mental health journey. I think if you want to share a little slide of where I was at when I started, I have that actually. So yeah, here I am. I was coloring my hair all kinds of crazy colors, just trying to find a way to like, basically my confidence was so low because I always struggled with skin issues. Since even before these pictures are taken, I always had acne when I was a teenager, and I was on Accutane, and I was on all kinds of medications. I was trying everything, and I really had these like, just that was one of the most evident things that transformed was my skin. People can see that transformation. And it wasn't overnight because Marty, I know when you started following me, I still had my skin issues, right? And so I love this journey is not about showing up when you're already healed. It's about healing out loud and giving yourself the opportunity to share your story as it's happening. So definitely out of my comfort zone. I was not someone who felt comfortable behind a camera, but I did push myself because I knew if I only showed up after I was healed, then I wouldn't be able to inspire people like you and people who I wanted to reach. So I started sharing, and I love that I see you out there sharing, even through, the struggles that you still go through, and, through the growing pains and everything. So I know that your people who are out there are watching you now, and it may take a few years before they're ready to reach out. And when you reached out, it was just the aminos, right? And I was like, that's fine. Wherever people can start on this journey, that's okay, because as long you're making a decision, as long as you're making that decision that I'm worth investing in to help myself, even if it's a small investment at first, it's that decision that tripwires the whole progress.
Yep, I
And
agree.
yeah, and then this opportunity led to, well, I witnessed people's transformations as soon as I would share it with them, and it became my purpose. Like, when you see something that works so well, and not just for you, but for other people, I started to get more and more out of my way and think I'd be criminal not to get this out there, because there's so many people, especially in this day and age, as you were saying, with mental health, and things like that. Like it is so important people know that there's options, that they don't have to have a lifetime of medications, which I believed I would have because I had tried to get off of my medications in the past, and it wasn't pretty. I would relapse, and then I would recommit to never, like I basically, when Purium came into my life, when it came to my mental health medications, I had no foreseeable plan of getting off of those medications. So this just came and met me where I was at, and, helped me built my gut, which built my confidence, which built, my mental health. And slowly I was able to release those, which is huge blessing. Like it is, I know mental health is in an all-time crisis, and it became so rewarding to share this. And it put me into a place of, from, I definitely went into, like, I went out of victimhood into purpose really quickly. And Jared was working full time, really long hours at that time, which was also putting a strain on our family. He was working in the film industry and different freelance, where he would be out of the house sometimes for 16, 18 hours a day. And I really wanted to free Jared. So I was like thinking, even outside, I was just like, I need, and for selfish reasons, because I was like, I want Jared home with me and building, and raising the kids together and being able to travel, not take, ask for vacation time anytime, or, have him come home early. Like I needed him to have freedom. So I checked out that compensation plan and I was like, oh, if I share this with 3 people, I can get to this, and I started to build, like, in my head, I saw how really actually simple this business was, because naturally I was already attracting people. And if I could just get more effective at communicating, which is what we all work on in personal development here, I can then inspire people what's possible for them. So, yeah, Jared, you want to
Just
go?
sharing it. Yeah, luckily she did share it with me, and it's easy to share something you love, as we all know. And witnessing her transform was incredible. You know, those skin before and after pictures is a surface level view of that transformation, but what was happening mentally, her going off those medications, like being on an upper and a downer because her two different doctors weren't communicating, was a scary time because we entrusted our health, our family's health, her health into the hands of doctors who know very little about gut health, the microbiome, and how it influences your organ health, your hormones, all that. So it was transformative in that regard for me myself going on these foods. I'll just show you quickly my before and after. So like Marty, I was a junk food junkie, you know. I was like chips and cookies aficionado my whole life. And to knowing that I couldn't get the kind of results I wanted without restriction, and restricting yourself, telling yourself no, you can't eat certain things, is really stressful, and it leads to yo-yoing. And I never was able to shed the dad bod for my whole up until my 30s, my mid 30s. I had that even with working out and dieting, but what it turned out is it's inflammation, it's bloating, it's your gut. And this program facilitates that very easily because it's complete. And we can go into more detail about that, but the lifestyle, you know, Allison was mentioning how we were two ships in the night doing our own things. We were passionate about both these things. I was in the marketing world and film, and now this opportunity comes up where I can just share something I genuinely love. Before, my whole life, I was being paid to pretend to love things enough that I could convince others to buy it. And here I was like, wow, this stuff works. It tastes awesome. It transformed me. And now we've helped about 10,000 people with it. And we're just enjoying sovereignty and the idea that getting paid 5 times a month, every month, a weekly check and a bonus check. I've never had that as a freelancer and a business owner. It was always about what's next, chasing my paychecks, following up, getting burnt out. Here was just a way to have time and location freedom. And when
And do
it's
it together as a family, even,
together, yeah,
the kids involved. It's been a lot of fun and growth for,
definitely.
we've been able to buy land and build a farm and things that we only could dream of before, even not even dream that big, because it just seemed so unrealistic in the way we were living before.
We
And
would have had to take a massive loan out from the bank or something, be beholden, much like, before I had to ask for a raise, I had to ask for time off work. I had to, limit our vacation time. Undoing that paradigm, releasing ourselves from that matrix, was so freeing that we became addicted to helping other people do it.
Mhm.
And that's now our goal, is just like we want to help people achieve freedom, financial freedom, health freedom, and it's just via this gut health protocol. That's the stepping stone.
I
Thank you,
think
Marty.
you guys have done so much work in the short amount of time. It's so amazing that, you're talking about the empowerment and the community and coming into your own selves, you, this community, everybody has healed through something, while other people are holding space for them and having grace, and at the same time, not like
Mhm.
just handing them something, say, this is the fish. You're actually helping people learn how to, fish
Yeah.
and help people. And I have so much appreciated the patience and the guidance of this community. And it's not just you two, it's like Eric and Sonia and the whole Kind Human tribe has just been beautiful. Can you go over the compensation plan just a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. I love the compensation plan now. And I'm such a not a numbers person, but when
Me neither.
yeah, but when you look at it like a game, or some people look at it in like the spiritual sense of ascension, right? Like these are the chakras, these levels are, it's so much more than because like you said, you were working, we're working on ourselves, you know, and so these growth levels, and we're going to take a look at, you know, so what this means, but that they all require us to kind of come into a new like level of, you know, opening our throat chakra. I call that the diamond ring. So we're going to go up, like basically we'll show people how to get started in a fat, like this is what, if you want to go fast, there's an opportunity to have a lot of bonuses at the beginning. And so we want to show you like what the best pathway when you get started.
Exactly. So it's pretty simple. You get paid on commissions every week. So every Friday, your amount of commissionable volume is calculated and you're paid that. And then there's rank advancement, which I always thought of as a cool video game, except when you win stuff, you actually get paid, which is amazing.
And help
And
people.
and you know, you're incentivized at the beginning to go fast. You know, you want to get up on the bike quickly, avoid that clumsy, trippy stage, and just kind of get momentum with it. And what it looks like at the beginning is basically people having their product paid for.
That was my goal at the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
just
That's a
make
very noble, that's a very, you know, humble beginning. That's how most people start, is just, hey, how can I get my products paid for? So really it's just, if you know two people who want to join you, that pays for your products, because you're going to get a bonus check of $100 on top of those commissions.
Mhm.
So right away off the bat, that's like just sharing with two people is like you're getting about $300 to start, you know, so that pays for your entry pack. And then, you know, then if you get three people in your first month, I always say, but let's go right away to the second rank. Let's just go to director. Let's bypass consultant, because consultant is only $100 bonus. But if you have three people, so just one more person, and you have a whole month plus the month, well, you have the month you enrolled plus another whole month to hit that director rank. And that's a $500 bonus. So most people, now that we're helping, are able to hit this bonus because they think, you know, I love to start people as customers first, and they can experience the food and think about people that are also praying for this. So, you know, the best thing about this whole thing is basically there's no risk, because if you don't have a positive experience with this food, which I've never heard of, but if you, for whatever reason, don't, you have a full 60-day money back guarantee. But if you do have a positive one, like every person that we've shared it with, you can make money with it, right? So you can have your products paid for. So I always say, think of like, start writing down names when you start doing this program and you're feeling the benefits. Like for me, I felt the benefits right away. And I started thinking about Jared, my parents, you know, people in my life. Of course, that was still playing really small, because people closest to you may not be the ones who are most open to, you know, trusting you or something, or whatever it is. But um we we want to widen our reach, right? So that's why we say share your story, even at the very beginning, even before you have a product experience. Share why you're doing it and start planting the seed, because people out there, either they're going to be ready or they're going to be watching. So you know, I just say, think of as many people as you can, as you know, who are open to this kind of thing. Like, think of as many people as you know, write them down, ask other people who they know. And if you can find three people in your first, like I said, almost, there's, you know, a month and some change, you can make a $500 bonus with your, on top of commissions. So that's a lot of money to be making right away. And we want to help people, you know, just get started with that kind of excitement, because once everything duplicates too. So once those people this is what I love, is if all those three people love it as much as you did, and they each can think of two people to share it with, that's a diamond rank right there. So really it's, you know, some people it took me a long time because we're all starting at different stages, and that's okay. And like you said, this business is non-pressure. Like no one is going to push you, because it's only dependent on what people will only push you to what you want, right? So like if some people come on and say, I just want to have my products paid for, I'm not going to be, pushing them to go much further. But if someone is like, I really want to leave my job and, I want to make this work, we know how to do that. So
When we talk about the diamond rank, it's that's the structure required. And once you that for me was, what works out to about $2,000-3,000 a month. And I was like, well, I'm not making much more at my job. Why don't we just pivot to this? Because there's uncapped income. You're paid on multiple levels, and you're paid in perpetuity, which, you know, we were always in this kind of one and done model where you put in your hours and you're trading your time for money. Or if you're selling something, they buy it, it's done, you get a commission, and that's it. What we're talking about is food. We're talking about, something we eat every single day, and our customers eat this every day. So you buy it's consumable, you're buying it every month. So that is like, it's not just like you're getting paid one time, you're getting paid every month over and over again. And for us, it just grew and grew without having to do like cold calling. It's just attraction marketing, which is
yeah,
brilliant.
Jared told me early on, before he was ever involved with the business, actually, because he hadn't even had his product experience, but he saw how passionate I was. And he planted the seed in me. He said, you're an inbound call center. People are coming to you. So I always want to repeat that to others, because when you do this, we don't know who, like you were watching me, we don't know who's watching, right? So you want to be putting yourself out there for those who are praying for it, who honestly, most of them weren't in my inner circle. They were people I did not know before. So yeah.
Yeah, lots of people out there looking for answers, solutions, and we're just connecting them to something because you can't find this in stores. This company, 30-year-old company that has their owners and manufacturers and distributors. So they have a lot of control over what comes in and what leaves,
Yeah.
and that's good peace of mind. No,
Also, it's a very unique company. When you get to know the owners, you get to feel the heart of it. And I think that's what attracts so many people, because I've seen what they have in Costco and superfood store, like, health food stores and everything. There's no transparency. You cannot find where ingredients are sourced from. You cannot find even who the owners are and what their heart is. So I love that this company is so so heart led. There's when you get to meet Amy and Dave, the co-founders, and their history, their story, and it attracts those people who care, because there's an energy to that, and there's an energy that transpires into the food, and you can feel it. And so it is very different. Some people are like, oh, I've tried superfoods, or I've tried green powder, or whatever it is. You haven't tried it until you've compared it to Purium. Like you can't make any decision until you've tried it yourself personally, because there is a frequency to this food, and even the packaging being home compostable, these attention to details that you just can't find anywhere else.
It's something that I have been really blown away by is just the freshness and having it be 98% alive with no fillers, no binders, no fluff. And it's all like every time I take it in, even if I had ice cream the night before, telling on myself, I feel so much better. I feel so much better, and it gives me that clean burning fuel. And you're talking about the relationship with Dave and Amy. They set with us every single week going over product information. They teach us corporate calls numerous times a week. And then our own team, we have Fast Start Fridays and a couple of other different calls like Mastermind, where people get together and we celebrate each other's growth and we share. And I love this community. It's all like the four pillars is health, wealth, environment, and community. And, how can which one is the most important? You can't really say which one is the most important, because it's up to the individual. And I love that individuality here actually means something. The authenticity of the way a person heals is actually encouraged. And nobody's like, we're going to just kick you out of the nest. There you go. No. And it's not a bunch of hand holding either. It's a bunch of, this is what you could be doing. Let me help you with that. And I love that with this community. And I appreciate you guys sharing what you've shared. I'm hoping that we can do this again next week and we can go over more about the ULT. The Power Shake is, you know, the salads and the super aminos. And, you know, somebody's all like, I don't eat salads. And I was like, hun, you don't have to. You can drink 6 of them at a
It's
time.
delicious. Yeah.
And it's delicious. It's super fresh and delicious. And, you know, knowing that people have come off of meds, not just psych meds, but like diabetes too, and dementia kind of bringing back the clock by heavy metal detox and helping children come into their own power and understanding with just a simple parasite cleanse and proper nutrition has been just amazing to watch, be a part of, and personally to be able to help people like that has always been a dream of mine. It's always been a dream of mine, and stepping into that. And I'm looking for leaders. Like I said before, I know that me and Allison, we're both looking for leaders at this time, people that have what it takes or they believe in themselves enough that they know that they have that dream and want to be heard, because when you are heard, that's when the healing really starts. And this community is full of people that listen, and they might ask you the hard questions, or they'll be all like, okay, this is where you can find it.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been like cast aside. You know, every once in a while when I was coming off of meds, you know, my typing was a little scattered, and Jared's all like, I don't understand what you just typed, you know, and that's about as rough as it's gotten, you guys, you know, but coming off of psych meds, coming off of pain meds, going through surgery, getting back into the gym and sharing this is putting me in a position to actually help people start this business themselves. And I have great mentors, not just in these two, Jared and Allison, but their mentors are my mentors, and they will be your mentors as well. Thank you guys so much. Let's see who's on. Landon and Megan and Micah. Hi, Landon. Thank you so much for showing up, hun. I appreciate your time given, you guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me and I'll send you information. And yeah.
We can get on a call together if anyone wants, and you know, just explore what this is for them and how they can make it, how they can align it with their vision and their purpose, because this really does it goes with everyone's, you know, doesn't matter who you are, health is for everyone, and everyone can, you know, I know has everyone who has a heart to help will be very aligned with this. And yeah, I know, Marty, you're doing it. You're putting, you're getting yourself out there. I'm so proud of you. And
Imperfectly authentic.
Yeah,
Imperfect all the way.
perfectly imperfect. And that's all, you know, that's it. That's all we have to be. No one has to be anything they're not. This is all about empowerment and growth and just self-love, you know, at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And we're so grateful to be on this mission with you and everyone who joins us. We're so grateful to meet you. We can't wait to get to know you. And yeah, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, guys.
See you
Thank you,
soon.
everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Marty.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.